What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Evening Double Podcast. This is going to be episode number 19 with a special guest, Jack Keys, joining Eric and I. Jack is a Louisville native. He grew up here in Louisville, but he moved to Ireland recently. So we dive into a little bit about what it's like living in Dublin, and has he's kind of joined the sport and become a late bloomer into the sport relatively recently, breaking 1:10 and a half and 2:29 at the Boston Marathon. So he was starting back in Corral 4 too, so we get into that a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what it's like living in Ireland, training with a bunch of guys that run really fast, hard long runs. What's his mixture of that, and how he views the sport as a whole, and where he thinks he can continue to be chasing faster times and improvement. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this conversation, so we'll get into this here momentarily. But before we get into the pod, if you guys are looking for any kind of coaching services, Eric and I are offering some coaching stuff. We have some slots available, so we'll have the link in the show notes. Give us a text or fill that out, and we'll be glad to have a call with you. But other than that, thank you all for the support so far. We've grown quite a bit recently, moving up in some of the U.S. charts on the running related podcast. So that was cool. We didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, thank you all so much. Look forward to episode 20. But for now, enjoy episode number 19 of the Evening Double Podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Live here with Jack Keys, back stateside from Ireland. Going to be back in Louisville here shortly. We're getting excited for him to run with us. But good friend here that we met through running. He has some good stories and some interesting things that he's done. Gotten. I like to say really fast, really fast. Usually say you get really fast quickly. I like to say you got really fast, Jack. We're excited to have you on the pod.
Oh, thanks. Good to be here. I'm making my running podcast debut, so I'm very honored.
Yes.
You also got fast. Like you've only been running a few years or so. Like seriously, so great.
Well, we're doing our best. Keaton's run a little late tonight. He'll hop on a little bit, but wanted to introduce Jack. We're excited for this one. He's a 2:29 marathoner. Just ran that at Boston. What a course to set a huge PR at. We'll dive into that a little bit, but first, just want to kind of talk to you about a little bit of your running background. I know you haven't been running too long. What got you into running, and when did you start running?
I feel like I could have two answers to this because I first really started getting into running a couple years ago, but I can explain like my first time actually running distance at all was like for one brief semester in high school. So I'll get to that in a second. But the real like first time I was going to plan to run a half marathon was when my buddy texted me. I was just looking at the screenshot, November 2023, so like 2.5 years ago. He texted me, "Do you want to run the Louisville half marathon this year in April?" And at the time, it seemed extremely daunting. I'd never run more than 6 miles at a time, and the plan was to just every weekend meet up and run a 6 mile long run, which we considered that a long run at the time, a 13-minute mile pace. And so, I was checking that today because I figured you might ask me that question, and I was like, "Well, I've come a long way," because that was, like, my super long run, be like 6 miles at 13-minute pace. But the
That's
funnier
crazy.
answer is that, um, I in high school, I was super injury prone at other sports, so I played lacrosse goalie, and I'd always break my hands and things like that, so I broke my hand before the season even started because I just would get hit with the ball and my hand would instantly break. And my mom made me sign up for another sport, and so she made me do track, basically. She was like, "You should do" she wanted me to stay busy and out of trouble, basically. And she kind of, like, pushed me along, forced me to do track. And my training partner at the time, I had 2. One of them they're both new runners, so they grouped us together. One of them's my buddy who I still, keep in touch with, who we, are in a fantasy football group with, so that's Connor. The other person they paired me up with was this kid named Yared, who won the bronze or something or silver in the 5K yard and a goose. So
Yeah.
he's come a very long
Yeah.
way since then. But that was
Yeah.
like his
My
very
God.
first year.
That's
I was on the
crazy.
track team yard in a goose. That was like the one semester I did of running. I was basically like an NPC. I don't even remember anything about it or like any of the run. I just remember that running was hard. Like every easy run was really hard. I'm sure they
Mm.
prescribed some intervals and things like that. I think I was like I did fine, but I just didn't care. I didn't run at all outside of practice. Sometimes I probably skipped practice to go hang out with my friends or something. I don't even remember, but I did not catch the bug back then. It wasn't until my friends, several years later texted me about running the half marathon. And I ended up getting a decent time for a beginner, and then I just loved it. So,
Yeah, so that's funny. That's pretty similar to me. I did 1 year of track when I was in eighth grade,
oh yeah,
because I played baseball all growing up in the spring. Loved baseball, and then I did in my seventh grade. First year, you can actually like play it for your school. Middle school is seventh grade, where I was in New York. So I played in seventh grade, and I was like the only seventh grade starter on the team, and like I did well, but, like, near the end of the season, I just started to get, like, dragging. I'm like, this is kinda boring," you know? Like,
yeah,
baseball just started getting a little too slow for me,
you
and
gotta
I was
wait.
like, "I don't know if I'm gonna do it next year," so I actually moved and did track 8th grade. I have no track experience in my family. I don't know, do you have anyone who runs in your family?
Not really. My dad, apparently, it was a fad, like in the '80s or '90s, to start running. So I think my dad was going to run a marathon but got injured. But yeah, no, no
Yeah.
real run.
So that's similar, like, I didn't have anyone who, uh influenced me at all to run. I just enjoyed
Yeah,
being fit, basically. Even when I was that young,
yeah,
I enjoyed like I didn't mind running. Like even like when you're young, like 5, 6 years old, I remember I would do like those little races. But yeah, I did track for 1 year. That was it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I did like the 1500. I knew I was a longer distance person. That was like the longest distance you could run at that age. But it was very similar. Then I just played golf throughout high school and everything, and did that in college, and then finally got the fad back. So it's very similar
yeah. I
type of
remember
story. But
I ran one 400, and I have no idea what time I ran. I just remember I threw up afterwards, like in the bathroom because it was so hard. But, yeah, running
I,
also was not very cool back then. Like, it's kind of only a recent development that it's kinda cool to run, like, because we would practice around like, the lacrosse field was the track went around the lacrosse field, and I totally remember the kids, like, making fun of me on the lacrosse team that I was injured and couldn't play lacrosse and that I was running track, and I was very embarrassed by it, but now, you know, it's, like, the cool thing to do, obviously. Lots of people are running.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's golf and running. It was right after basically COVID. They both became cool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it was kind of it was interesting because I remember, and it was same thing with golf in high school. It was like kind of like the geeky sport, but when I
yeah,
started getting more towards my senior year, it started flipping. I mean, this is back 8, 10 years ago now, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, it started flipping then, and then once COVID happened, now it's like, it's super cool, both sports. But yeah, that's
yeah,
that's that's a great background story there. I want to hear um a little bit more about yourself and your background because I'm interested in your music career. So I know you're a musician. I don't
uh-huh.
know a ton about it. Let me hear a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of like sort of, another maybe similarity between us is I feel like I don't want to put words into your mouth, but you seem to have a very like obsessive personality about the things you're passionate about. Like 'cause you're a Division 1 golfer and now you're a very high level runner. So, but I was am like super obsessed with. I have like kind of like an athletic side, but I also really love writing, reading, music, and so definitely throughout the high school years, when I was like a sensitive time of, like, growing up and, I was, like, super just locked into making music, expressing myself that way, and listening to music constantly, and then in college, I started playing a lot of shows, and then when COVID happened and a lot of people were discovering running, that's when I, like, really decided I wanna start releasing a lot of music, and so I started recording some albums with my friends during COVID. I put them out, and I got I I got, like, a small fan base after some time of, like, really trying to play this sort of content game of, like, putting stuff out and, emailing blogs and playlists or whatever, and playing lots of local shows, making a community kind of like we have in Louisville with running, doing the same thing with music. And
Hmm.
that was a lot of my friendships and things in Louisville was through the music scene. And yeah, I think I've put out 3 albums. I'm still releasing stuff. I'm doing it a lot more slowly. Now that I'm in Ireland, like, I record usually with someone in Louisville, and so I played a few shows and things in Ireland, but I'm kinda, like, slowed down on the, releasing things, and definitely running is taking a big part of the, priority too, so, yeah. I make, like,
Yeah,
folky
no, it's
music.
yeah, no, then don't let him live it down. Like you got like a lot of followers and
I
Spotify from
used
it.
to
I know
gosh.
it's
I went from, like, 40,000 listeners to now it's, like, 5,000, so it's kinda sad, but I still get really nice
that's
messages.
still a lot.
Many people. I had
That's a lot.
someone someone recently commented on YouTube. It was like a video of me playing one of my songs that I released in 2022, so it's not been that long, and they commented like, "Oh, I just found this song again after several years, like, thanks for releasing this back in the day." I was like, "Whoa, back in the day."
Back in the day,
Not that
4 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a couple questions here. We're gonna do a little rapid fire. Basically, the goal of this is just get to know you. You're good to explain what you said, but basically, I'm gonna move on to the next one after you got what you wanted to say. So we're gonna start right easy one. Number one, favorite running shoe. We can start with either.
Mm.
Well, let's do favorite running trainer.
I like the Nova Blast. I'm not a big shoe guy, but I've got, like, Nova Blasts, and I was like, "These are good," and I just buy them all the
Yeah.
time. So Nova Blast I like to travel with Super Blast because you can wear them on a workout or an easy run, so if I'm
Okay.
vacationing, I
Now,
use Super Blast, but yeah.
favorite racing shoe.
I just tried I guess I'm a, ASICS super fan. I just tried the Metaspeed in my
Hmm.
last race, Metaspeed Edge, I believe, to Tokyo or
Yeah.
something. Like those. I'm into those. I like a lighter shoe. I like them more than the Alpha.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm not as much. I'm an Alpha Phi guy for racing, but I'm a big A6 fan. I love the Nova Blast. I just got a new pair of the sixes. They are fresh and they are feel great.
Yeah.
So
They're
especially
Nike
after
ASICS. I like the
yeah,
bump.
especially after your other ones have like 700 miles and you're
Oh
gonna
my gosh.
injure yourself and you
Yeah.
take it to the brink.
Yeah.
Nice thing about those shoes too, though, like I don't retire them completely. I just turn them into walking shoes. So
Yeah.
and then they last another like 300 miles of walking. So I get like a
Yeah, yeah.
thousand miles out of those shoes.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah. All right. Um, okay, this is going to be a two-headed question. We're going to have an American one and an Ireland one. Favorite running route?
Oh, in America
Yeah,
or Kentucky? Or
wherever.
well, I just ran in Central Park for my evening double today, podcast name.
Love
Love
it.
running in Central Park. I always end up running fast even though it's hilly because it's just, like, sightseeing and I don't know, it's just so engaging. And then in Louisville, I love running in the parklands where me and you and Chris ran. And then in Ireland, I always run this route near my house that's like a greenway called the Dodder, and it's very confusing to people because I just put on my Strava Dodder, like, Dodder run, and people think it's, like, a type of running. So I've had multiple people think like so this guy actually who's a Life in Stride fan, I'm not sure if he'll listen to I hope he listens to this too, but he actually messaged me on Strava and was like, "Could I start calling my runs daughters too?" Like, I just kinda like how it sounds. Um, but it's just the daughter is like the greenway, it's called the Daughter River, but it kinda sounds like a type of
Okay.
run or something, but I love it,
Yeah,
it's nice, yeah. There's lots of
it
good
works
rivers
out.
to run in
It
Dublin.
sounds like kind of like a double, like the daughter, the
Yeah,
double.
like you're
I don't know.
doddering around. Yeah.
All right. Favorite workout.
I love, like, threshold, stuff. I don't really go fast very much, but the one I do a lot to get kind of, like, my half marathon dialed in would be maybe a 3 by 2 mile. I feel
Okay.
like I do that a lot if I'm on my own. Maybe it's not the best, but, 3 by 2 mile off 2 minutes, then maybe, like, add a few seconds, and that's usually, like, my per mile, and that's, like, my half marathon target, so it's kind of a good one.
So are you running those 2 mile at like half marathon pace?
Yeah, it usually would come out to, like, a few seconds per mile, maybe faster than half
Okay.
marathon pace. But yeah, I like a
And me,
I
me
mean, I
and
just yeah, yeah.
no, good.
Oh, yeah, I like any thresholdy thing, though, like, I just did a 4 by 8 minute thing. I like that, like anything that's long reps. Yeah.
And me and Keaton talked about this last time. We were talking about rest. We really went into detail about rest.
Yeah.
What When you do that, you said 2 minutes. Is that two
Yeah.
minutes walking, 2 minutes standing, 2 minutes jogging?
Yeah. I usually jog. I'll probably slightly slower than my easy run pace. So if my easy run pace is like 8 minutes, the 2 minute jog might be like 8:30, 8:15. Um, I tend to like with the group I run with, their jog rest is usually a little faster than mine. So like I might like lose them on the rest and have to catch up on the rest. I like taking the rest pretty slow. But I don't usually do like standing or walking, but I'm not averse to it. I just haven't really done it.
Do you change by workout? Like, say, you had 3 by 2 mile threshold. What if you had 6 by mile?
I don't, but not for any particular reason.
Okay. Well, we
Yeah.
just talked about it.
Maybe think about
It's an
that.
interesting one. It's
Yeah.
one that we felt like could definitely be overlooked, but
I
at the
think it's
same
the most worth
time,
it.
like, yeah, no, because if you have the wrong rest, in my opinion, it can ruin the workout. Like if you're, standing for 2 minutes on 800s, like you shouldn't be doing that. Your heart rate's going to get way too
Wouldn't be a
low and
big
you're not going to
yeah,
get
I
much out
wouldn't
of it.
yeah, I wouldn't be a big fan of standing. I think
Vice
for like a
versa,
yeah.
i-
1
if
minute,
you,
like oh, sorry.
no,
There it
you're
is.
good. If you, talk about, uh, welcome, Keaton.
What's up, man?
What's going
Nice to
on,
meet you.
guys? Right on time.
What's up?
Nice to meet you too, Jack.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh,
Well,
no
we
problem.
were
No problem. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Keaton, we were just ripping through some of the questions, rapid fire. We were just talking about his favorite workout. He likes the threshold 3 by 2, and I was just digging into what we talked about last time with the
Yeah,
rest, seeing what he liked, whether it was standing, walking, jogging. He's kind of like a slow jog guy, kind of similar to me. But yeah, so next one. I mean, after favorite workout, what's favorite long run workout?
ooh, that's a good question. I really, like, just jump into what other people are doing so often, like, and, there's a huge park in Dublin called Phoenix Park, and there's always a great group of guys that are, like, 220 to 230 marathoners, and they run really aggressive and maybe just pure guts, like, kinda dumb, but really good long runs where it's usually just a progression. So I guess that's the long answer. Or
Okay.
that's the
So
simple
basically
answer,
just
like,
like
I
a,
love a
a
progression
progression
run.
type of
I
run.
start out with slow. Yeah,
When you say
yeah,
a,
but
a
just, like, kinda hitting
progression,
it the whole way.
like what are you starting at? What are you getting to?
So I've run really dumb runs that are way faster than I should, that would get me injured if I did them every week, but this group is just full of guys that just, like, go so quickly, where, the average might be, like, 5:45, which is not good because 'cause I'm a 5:40, you know, minute mile marathoner, but, ideally, it'd be maybe start steady and then every mile tick off 5 seconds or so, so maybe, like, for me, that would be hopefully these days getting down to around 5:30, but maybe start at, like, 6 or 6:10 and just, like, every mile knock or
Yeah,
you're gonna start
and
start with a warm up, obviously, and then
that's something interesting to talk about. I see it on your Strava is like some of these long runs you do. Like I remember like when we're here, we're like, what did Jack do this weekend?
oh,
Like
really?
we look and we're like, what in the world? It's like
Yeah.
17 miles at threshold.
Yeah.
And we're like,
It's
what
ridiculous.
what like what's going on here? Like
The
you're saying
crazy
it's
thing
just
is that
fast guys that you're just kind of hanging on to?
yeah, I mean, some of them are not that different than me, but they're just go really hard on those runs, like, and, the funny thing is that most of that group that I run with at Phoenix Park is over 40 years old, but there's
Wow.
one guy who's maybe in his 50s, and he's like a 220, like, low 220s, marathoner in his 50s. I think he has the European record or is very close to it, and he is insane in the best of ways. His name's Gary, so shout out to Gary if he listens to this.
Yeah, shout out Gary.
He is awesome to, like, cling on to in a run, and he's so, like, motivating and very inspiring that he's in his 50s, like, I started running in my mid-20s, and sometimes I think about, well, what could have been or whatever, and, like, it's cool to run with
Yeah.
these guys in their 40s, 50s that are, like, hitting low 220s or 230 or whatever it may be, so for the marathon.
Yeah. Well, I'll ask last question here, and I'll get Keaton involved because he's coming in. He has no idea what's going on. um, Jack, this is a question I've been asking some people because it's gotten really hot here in Louisville. Like last week was
Yeah.
brutal. It was like 98 degrees. This week, honestly, 87 feels good. It's kind of crazy. But I asked this to a couple people. So basically, we added an hour to your marathon time. So if you had to run a marathon, it's starting at like 4 p.m., blazing sun, flat course, but like blazing sun, heat index like 110. Uh, you're gonna run. Your goal is 3:30. So if you break 3:30, you're gonna get $20,000. But if you don't break 3:30, you owe $20,000. Are you taking it on?
Versus just running a pure 2:30, or do I have 2 choices, or is this my only choice?
No, you're so you have to run a marathon in the heat of the day. It's 95 degrees,
Okay,
110 feel like. You have to
on the
break
hills.
3:30. If you break
Yeah,
3:30, you get 20 grand. If you don't, you owe 20 grand. Are you taking it on?
I got
Taking the risk?
it.
You're taking it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe by a week or 2 into the Louisville heat, I'll change my mind and kinda get
It's
spiraled.
I all I'm gonna say is last week I was running 8:30s for a
Yeah,
double, and I stopped twice on a 6 mile run. Stopped. I
yeah,
I haven't done that since I started walking. I felt
yeah.
like I
Being
got
on
an 8:30
2.5
pace.
hours too is, yeah, it's a long time.
All right,
Yeah,
Keaton.
what is
What else
3:30
would like
marathon pace?
Uh,
like 8-minute mile probably,
probably right
maybe.
around 8.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm taking it.
yeah, of
Well,
course, right?
yeah, Keaton. I know you would take it. My question for you, Keaton, is
Oh,
you're running a 10K, 32:30, 20 grand.
in 110?
Yeah, 110 feel like.
Yeah, I'm taking it.
You taking it?
I'm taking
Bet
it.
on
All
yourself,
right.
man. Yeah.
You guys are confident. That's $20,000 you have to pay if you don't hit it.
Hey, all on red, you know?
All right. I the older guys that I talked to, none of them took it. The younger guys all were super confident. When I asked Chris Driegel, he's like, "Dude, I'd do it in 250." I said, "I'd pay. Watch."
You should make a video. Do a challenge.
I know. That's what I said. I'd pay to watch that 250.
I'm ready to
You
do
should
it.
have asked. Yeah.
Let's find a Saturday that's gonna be that kind of temperature and let's do it.
Yeah, the
We'll
10K,
take
you could knock that out for sure, yeah.
yeah, we can knock this one out. We can do
10K you
this
could
one.
do. I'm gonna make Chris Striegel run the marathon and break 250 in front of my eyes.
Yeah. Chris doesn't get any he's gotta do the marathon. He's gotta do that.
Well,
He
you gave
doesn't
me
get a 10K
3:30,
out of
that's a lot of
that.
leeway. 50
I
would
was
be
gonna ask you, Jack.
yeah.
I know that group you're running with in Phoenix Park is a pretty loaded group. Are there any guys that are maybe on the door of breakthroughs? Would there be anybody in your group that you would shout out as getting ready to have uh, maybe getting ready to have a performance where we can see it and have them talk about it here on the pod? Is there anybody there that you're
Oh,
calling
yeah.
their shot?
Yeah, great question. There's a few, like, really I mean, there's a lot of people in that group too that have not been running for very long that have made really fast progress because the runs are so, intense, but, like, yeah, there's this my friend, Eamon, shout out to him, he's not been running that long, and he runs pretty low mileage, and he just broke 15 in the 5K, so that was pretty cool to see. And then there's this guy, Michael Brady, who's maybe been running 3 years, kind of like similar to me, like didn't take it up till his mid-20s. It's like maybe 30 and just broke 220 in London. And then there's a guy haven't met yet, but he comes down a bit. He doesn't live in Dublin. He lives like maybe Belfast, but his name's Stephen McCauley. And he's been on like the marathon podcasts and stuff like that. I feel like he's kind of like been on some podcasts and things. But I think he ran like 216 or something crazy after 3 years of running. So, it's kinda like high risk, high reward where, like, there's some people in that group that might get banged up more or, like, have to take a few down weeks and things like that. And so that's, like, kind of my more, like, aggressive group I run with, and then on Tuesday nights, I run with, the college that I work at. And that's definitely more, like, super like, the coaches really takes, I think, from, like, the Norwegian method and is, like, very into, like, testing lactate, like, telling people they're going too fast, and so it's cool to have, like, my threshold session is really conservative, and if then I hop in with those guys on the weekend, it's, like, more aggressive, but that group has, like, a lot of high definitely, like, runners who've been improving
Nice.
really quickly. Yeah, that was kinda
Yeah.
one into
Yeah, that's super good. That seems like a really good mixture of like staying relaxed and staying within yourself and then being challenged, especially over
Yeah.
the long runs, because that's kind of the staple of marathon training itself. I was gonna ask, what is your furthest long run that you'll do, and what's your furthest one that'll have like some sort of quality in it like that? Because I know you're talking like we were talking about some of those progressions. How
Yeah.
far would you take that long run to?
I think I've done like a 22-mile that like a lot of it is pace work or like a lot of it is intense. Like not intense but thresholdy.
It's crazy.
Um yeah, I wouldn't recommend I couldn't really walk very well like that. It felt like I raced, which is not what you're supposed to feel like. So but now I'm getting a lot more used
Nice.
to those kinds of runs, and then when I do when I do go into the Tuesday session and it's like 4 by 8 minutes at marathon pace, it feels really easy after doing, 22 miles where the average might be 5:45 or whatever it may be, so
Yeah, that makes total sense. I was gonna say I would much rather have a quality session or some sort of pickups in my long run,
yeah,
especially if I'm going anywhere over 17, 18.
yeah,
Just if
just the
not, like the time on foot for 2 hours plus to run 18 miles just seems ridiculous. So
yeah.
I don't
For
think
me, it's
whatever your longest like whatever your marathon time would be, I don't really feel like you should do an easy long run further than like time wise than that. So if you're gonna
yeah,
run, a
2.5 hours.
2:30, I wouldn't want to go out and run a 2.5 hour long run.
Yeah,
Now, if you're getting 22, 23 at some good quality, I think that's a little bit different. But yeah, I was
yeah,
just curious from your side of
yeah.
it.
I think if I was doing a long run that had no quality, like, I'll usually try to make it kind of more of like a exploration, kind of like from Dublin, it's a very condensed city, like, you can run 10 miles and be in farmland. I mean, maybe not that different than a lot of places in Kentucky, but, like, so it'd be kinda fun to run, like, 20 miles and just be in the middle of nowhere and see, like, horses running around and sheep and find somewhere cool to run, but, like, that would be the only time I would do a super long run with no quality. It'd be, like, just to see things.
Yeah, and that's
Really.
actually something I wanted to transition to and talk a little bit about because I'm sure a lot of our listeners would be interested, at least I'm interested in it, what running is like in Ireland,
Yeah.
especially in the Dublin area. Do you usually just run, like just hang out in the Dublin area? Do you do any traveling around? I know it's not a big country.
Yeah.
I was there a couple times. I spent most of my time in the southwest region, which is like Gulf Haven when I went on some trips with some golf buddies. But yeah, tell me a little bit about running there.
Yeah, well, one thing I really love about living I don't know if I've, like, said on this podcast that I live in Ireland. I'm sure that it'll be in the beginning or something,
I
but
think we figured it out by
I
now.
think we figured it out. But, I love that I can just this is like a super American living in Europe thing to say, but I love that I can just, like, step out of my door and just start running, and I don't have to worry about traffic. There's, like, bike paths and footpaths, anywhere, so I feel like that makes has helped me run high mileage and, like, be time efficient is because I don't have to drive anywhere. And so running in Ireland is great for that reason. Like, I live about 2 miles away from the sea, so I can run 2 miles, get to the ocean, and just, like, run along the ocean for as long as I want. Or I can run, like, a couple miles and get to Phoenix Park, which is, like, one of the biggest parks in Europe. It's like Central Park almost. I could run on there's lots of greenways on some canals and rivers and things, so there's just a lot of diversity of running. It's very green. I love it this time of year because it's bright until, like, 9 or t it's bright until, like, 10 PM, and so you can run all day. It's 60 to 70 degrees in the summer, which is great. The really downside about it is, like, you get those months in December to February where, it's just relentlessly dark and rainy and windy. So, like, I almost preferred running in Louisville when it was, like, 0 degrees, but we're kind of like I don't know, it's kind of an experience to be running in the super, super cold, whereas Ireland is just relentlessly, like, just pounding rain, windy, dark by 4 PM. So that's a grind, but then you get through it and it's like the best city in the world to run in. And the community is really, really good there right now. It's just like such a buzz around running in Dublin right now.
So
A lot
I
better
want to
weather.
back up Jack's point about being able to run like anywhere. So when I was there, as I said, I was in the southwest area, so I was in Killarney. We stayed, and I ran every morning about 8 miles, but right outside our hotel, it was all sidewalks everywhere,
Yeah,
and I was able to go. It was only like 2 or 3 miles right to a national park there.
yeah,
I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was like all walking and biking paths. There was like castles, and you came out on this like lake with like this big mountains in the background. It was beautiful. It was awesome.
yeah,
I was on a trip with like 30 guys. They're all getting way too drunk to get up in the morning. I mean, not saying I wasn't drinking, but I would control myself to still be able to get up earlier and go for the run and explore a lot of these areas that a lot of them didn't see. I mean, obviously we traveled around the whole Southwest area, so you got to see different areas. But it was cool to be able to run and explore those areas. That's one thing, at least for me, whenever I travel, even if it's just like for
oh, yeah,
work around
vacation
Kentucky, it's
room,
super cool to. That's the best way to explore a town, in
oh, yeah,
my opinion.
totally.
Keaton, I was just down in Richmond, and he gave me a running route. It was a good route, going downtown, going through EKU. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just a great way to find things out and explore. Like whenever we go on any type of trip, like if I'm with my friends, parents, whoever it may be, like I go for a run and I already know 10 times more things
Yeah,
than they do. And like we come out like later that night, like, oh, where should we go? It's like, oh, I ran past this place. It looked
yeah,
awesome this morning. Like we should go there. And it ends up being a great spot. Like I just think that's the coolest thing, in
that
my
is,
opinion, about running,
I
especially
agree.
when you go on vacation.
Yeah, yeah, I remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty. No, you go ahead.
Sorry, it wasn't too interesting, but I went to Tuscany with my girlfriend and her family recently, and, like, we were traveling around and, like, I ran to, Leonardo da Vinci's, like, birthplace or something, like, on a run, and then that was, like, their itinerary for the day was, like, kinda walking up there and stuff like that, and, like, I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh, that's cool that, like, in an hour and a half or whatever, I, like, saw this, beautiful scenery and saw this, like, historical landmark that would be kind of a full day activity if
Yeah.
we weren't running," so,
Yeah, that's it. 100%.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I feel like every runner probably has a story like that when they go on like family vacations or a family trip. I was just my wife and I went somewhere during her school spring break. We went to Myrtle Beach, and I had explored from like we were staying pretty close to the water, but I like ran in towards I guess uh, more of their like highway commercialized area of town and ran in these like beautiful, nice neighborhoods with like
yeah.
giant, cool houses. And then I knew where the local high school was. I ran past a couple coffee shops. And then when we were like going to those places, it's like, oh, I know exactly where that is, and was able
Yeah.
to drive us from there without having to look at maps. So that was made me feel like Christopher Columbus out there, just navigating the world with no map. But yeah, that is pretty cool. I've always wanted to go to Ireland and Scotland. Those two of my bucket list
Oh,
places. So, um, my wife and I have been looking at trying to do a trip to Europe next year. So if Ireland makes the list, I'm hitting you up and
oh, absolutely. Yeah,
at least gonna get a run in somewhere.
we will. Absolutely, I mean, we can host you if you're there, so just let me know. I'd love to.
Oh, all right, all right. Well, keep it
Yeah,
in
it's
mind.
gonna influence the decisions there, huh? And make it happen. I'd
No,
love to host you too.
Ireland.
Love it.
Ireland was cool. I mean, I've gone there twice now. Once in 2019, once in last year, 25, and both times first time I was in school for golf, and we actually played like a match against a team over there. The weather was so bad; it was like a remnants of a
Uh,
hurricane. We were in, I think it was October, but then when we went last year, we went in late July. It was like, as I said, it was like 30 of us in a alumni trip. Really fun. But the weather was good. Like overall, like we were really impressed. We were ready for it to be like pouring rain and, crappy like it was the first time. But it really was, it only rained like once. It was like 70 degrees. It really wasn't bad at all.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and when it's like that, it's like the best country in the world, but it's just, you have to wait for those days.
Yeah. And
I
when you
guess the
said
rain is biased to bring.
in the winter, you said it one is like sunrise and sunset.
Yeah,
I know it was like
yeah,
10:30 when I was there last year in
yeah.
July.
So in the summer, it's never dark almost, like, there's, like, 5 hours that it's dark, which actually I don't think I sleep very well. Like, I don't think I sleep that much because 'cause it'll be light at 5 AM, and not dark till 10:30. But in the winter, yeah, there's, like Yeah, I don't even know. I could Google it, but it was like it's like 6 to 8 hours probably of daylight. So,
That's
yeah, forget
crazy.
about it. I mean, you won't if you work, 9 to 5 or whatever, like, you're not gonna get a run-in that's, in the light for several months.
So let's switch here, and I want to ask you why. Why do you live in Ireland? When did you move there, and
Yeah,
what was the reason
that's
behind
nice.
it?
Uh, it's been a country I've always been curious about. My dad actually has his Irish citizenship, so he's, like, very in touch with that, part of his culture. I visited there, with him, like, a couple years before, or I guess a year or 2 before I moved, and just had a great time, loved it, felt very at home. And then also, like, my girlfriend's a French citizen, and she doesn't have US citizenship, so she was working in Louisville when we met. But to her, like, Louisville wasn't home as much as it is for me. So we were kinda trying to find a balance to where she would be closer to her parents while still not that inaccessible to mine. And so, like, my dad's in Ireland all the time just because he loves it, and it's, like, easy for him to get over there. And then, like, my mom works as a flight attendant, so, like, my dad can get free standby flights, I can get free standby flights, so it's not that hard to get back and forth from there, and it was just we wanted to try something new, like, try a new chapter, and I figured why not, so really liked it. But yeah, when the weather is bad, I really do think, like, "Oh, we could have picked anywhere to move, and we chose here." But then when the weather is good, it's but
And I don't know if you guys talked about it right in the beginning, but what do you do for work there? And did you have any trouble finding work?
yeah, so right now the way I could kinda get over there was I did, like, a one-year master's program, so I'm a teacher. I taught in Louisville at Louisville Collegiate, and before that, I did something called Teach for America, where I taught kind of like in Nashville, at, like, a more disadvantaged school, I guess. So, like, they send you to, a random school. So I did that for 2 years. I taught at Louisville Collegiate, as, like, a middle school English teacher. And then I did a one-year master's at UCD, University College Dublin, where I was, studying writing, and then now I teach writing, at the school. So it's just part-time, and so I kind of supplement that with I have, like, 5 people I'm coaching right now, and then I teach. And then I'm kinda deciding right now if I wanna move into full-time work, maybe as like I did some summer hours with, like, a social work company, like a, youth work as a youth worker. So I'm kinda deciding, like, do I wanna go into use my kinda education degree and go into the youth work field and, like, work with some kids in Dublin? Do I wanna keep doing the part-time gig and try to make it work with run coaching? So that's kind of my summer thing to decide, but my to be totally honest, my life has been very flexible and good for running, and that's been a big part of me moving to Dublin and getting really into running is, like, I've had the time to do it. It's been a good way to meet people, it's been a good way to see the country, so, yeah, been very privileged in that sense.
Yeah, that's super cool. I was gonna ask a little bit about the flexibility of your schedule, but it seems to be pretty
Yeah,
flexible,
yeah.
which is great. That's great to see. I'm hoping that leads you to sub 220 here, so that'll be good. But
Oh,
I was gonna say very similar situation to a guy that we've had on our podcast, a good friend of ours, Jackson. His wife is from the Netherlands, and
oh,
there he's been, trying to find work over that way. He's a teacher, taught middle school or
mm,
yeah, middle school here in the US and has been working through some different options to go that way. So that's pretty cool that we've got
yeah,
two friends of the pod that are
yeah.
some
Very
international
privileged.
teachers from yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So
gonna be hard finding work. I feel like I've applied to like, in Louisville, to be honest, like collegiate's a really good school, and that was the first job I applied to, and it was like, boom, got it, like, sweet. I've definitely been
yeah.
rejected to a lot more jobs in Ireland that I've applied to because of the visa situation. But, yeah, and I worked at, like, a public school in Ireland last year, and, like, yeah, it was kinda tough, and, like, uh, it'd be hard to get, like, a visa sponsored through them, but it's definitely possible. You just have to, find a job that will sponsor your visa, or you could maybe get married to the if his partner is, like, has an EU citizenship, so that might be one way to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm sure that that definitely probably helps with the marriage there, but yeah, he was definitely going through some of that visa issues with jobs and stuff to wanting to sponsor that. So tough stuff there. But hopefully he's going to get over there soon, and hopefully he runs. He wants to go sub 210, so hopefully he gets over
Sheesh.
there, gets in a good group, and runs sub 210. So
You can visit Ireland
wanted
and
to
then
transition a little bit to you being a musician. Eric has
yeah,
told me that music is a big part of you, and
touched on
just
it.
like tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit. Should I get
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. I wanted to, I guess we could talk about, um do you like doing that I know you kind of said you're leaning towards it now, but in the prime of both,
the
for
pride?
music or running?
I love that they both make you feel very scared. Like, I love, like, performing and,
Okay.
like, getting into that, like,
Oh yeah.
mindset of, doing something that's uncomfortable, and I feel like getting on the start line is a similar feeling, but I don't know if anything beats, like, getting a podium in a race or getting a huge PR. That might be peak. That might be even better than playing a really good show.
So
But
you're
I don't
Okay.
know,
taking
I
running.
man, that's kinda weird to take running, but maybe I would take running. I think writing a song is cool. That's very special, like, writing a song. I think I'd rather write a song that I really love than run a good workout or something, but I think I'd rather run a great race than play a good show, good concert.
I was just gonna say the end results. Are you gonna take
What are you
the
gonna
song, the hit song, or are you gonna take
the
the
PR.
10-minute
I would
PR
take
in a
a
marathon?
I'd take a hit song over a PR, actually. I'm
Okay,
being very, like,
that's
ambivalent about this, but yeah. I think I'd
Hey,
take the one I really believe in.
a hit song in today's day gets viral on TikTok, you'll be famous and rich, and then
Heck
you'll
yeah.
have more
I
flexibility
kinda
to break
do
220.
I wanna do both where, like, I wanna maybe, like, run a local marathon or a half marathon, like, in an Irish city, and then, like, that night play a show at a pub there. I wanna do, like, a double header.
That would be
So,
cool.
Yeah,
hopefully I
that would be pretty sweet. I think
can
if I ever get into the hosting of things, um, I'm gonna have you come into Louisville, and you'll race and play the after party. So
Nice.
we'll set it up.
Yeah,
Pretty nice.
you missed it earlier, man. We were talking about it. He had 40,000 followers on or listens
Let's listen.
on
Let's
Spotify.
Oh heck yeah, I'm gonna give it a listen.
He's only down to 5,000 now, so we got to get
yeah,
him
I'm
back up.
past my
We'll
prime.
get
Gotta get the evening double viewership will help.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say you're on the prime spot for musical
Really into indie
like
folk.
publicity is right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're listening to Evening Double, all 5 million people that are listening to this, Jack
My
Keys
publicist.
on Spotify. Yep. Um,
Yeah, we're getting close to going public with stock, so you should be seeing some influx here.
all right. Jack, let's talk Boston. Let's talk Boston build. This was your breakout race, I would say. I mean, breaking 2:30 in a marathon is no joke, and doing it on a course like Boston is incredible. I was extremely impressed. I mean, I was trying for the same goal. Unfortunately, I dealt with a little bit of an injury, just couldn't do it. I wish I could have, but I remember you passing me
You were
around
ready for it,
14.
it was just the timing. The timing wasn't right for it. Like, you
It's
peaked
fine.
a
We're
little
talking
earlier.
about you, not me.
Okay, but I
I
did
want to
see you.
hear. I want to hear. I want to hear kind of what your build was. How many weeks of a build? What kind of workouts clicked for you? How many miles a week you're running? Where you felt like, okay, I think I'm ready to do this. I know you ran a big PR and a half as well. Just kind of go through everything that went into that Boston build, because I'm very interested in hearing about it.
Yeah, I kind of felt like I ran 109 and a half before that, and I actually felt like that was maybe a better race. Um, because I feel like Boston is so tactical and that I maybe don't have the experience yet in the marathon to have, like, paced that beautifully, although the result was still pretty good, like, I felt, like, more confident, like, the half fitness I felt good about, so I think I'm still figuring out the marathon a tiny bit, but I totally don't think of, so far in my running journey, like, I haven't thought of builds at all. Like, I truly just try to run the same mileage every week and then slightly increase, and then I'll take 2 weeks down. Like, I'll taper really hard for every race I run, even like a random half marathon, and that's my way of, like, keeping myself in check. But I think what's been helpful for me as a runner who, I started running when I was almost 27, like 26. I think I was 26. And I just turned 29. So been running like a little over, seriously for 2.5 years. And to me, it's like I wanted to get pretty good at it quickly. And like the way to do that would be to just hit the same mileage all the time, not even really think of it in builds, don't even race that much, but just like keep doing what's repeatable and don't burn yourself out too much. And so it's not a very helpful answer maybe to listeners, but I for where I am right now am not that into like I think maybe next summer will be when I like take a summer to get into speed work or things like that. But for me right now, I'm like I just want to build my aerobic base basically. And so I was just like
No, that
when I
makes.
yeah yeah
I was gonna
when I
say that
visited.
that's. I think that's great advice
Oh cool.
for listeners to hear. Is the fact that you don't have to overcomplicate everything all the time.
Yeah
Racing is important, so building in some of those like down weeks is great. Going into races, feeling good and enjoying it. Um, but yeah, for the most part, like I know that Charles Hicks was big on talking about this. He was talking about trying to bridge the gap between him and more mature marathoners
mm,
because of the pounding of their legs, the callousing that
yeah
they have endured over years and years. And obviously, shoe technology and stuff is going to um, drastically increase your ability to handle mileage, and you might not need as much as of the callousing to be successful at the marathon. But I think that's kind of what he was meaning with, I'm just going to be really consistent,
yeah
make all the boring work my favorite thing to do. And,
yeah
obviously for you, it's working. And if that gets you to your peak, it gets you to your peak. And if it gets you to a level where you feel like you can now start doing more, I think that's, all power to you. The hardest part is doing the consistent, boring stuff. So I think you're hitting it
yeah.
right on where you need to, man.
Oh cool, man. Yeah, I think I'll eventually get to a point where I'm like I don't really I there's no room to add more mileage and there's no, ti like, I've just kind of kept adding mileage and then maybe I'll throw in an extra thresholds day, like, make it a 3 day 3 days of threshold versus 2. Eventually, I'll probably that will only take me so far, and it'll be time to, like, try to get a faster 5K. Um, but I just feel like I had a lot of room to, like, build an aerobic base, and I just wanted to do the easy, boring stuff, run super slow, easy miles, like, get my mileage up to 100 miles a week, and then, like, worry about the fast stuff when I feel like it's time, but I don't think it's been time quite yet, but maybe soon.
How many miles per week when you say you're staying consistent, are you doing?
Well, I just made a big jump right now, which might be silly, but I came in 2nd in a race recently, and that gave me, like, the fire to run. I've never won a race, so come in 2nd, like, 2 or 3 times. I think 3 times, and I'm like, I wanna run more." So I actually went up from, like, 100, 110 to now I'm, like, 110, 120, but that's just kinda silly. I don't think I'll do that for very long. Um, Although it doesn't feel that bad, but, like, I think realistically, like, just time-wise, if I'm working I haven't been working very much this month, to be honest, so um, I would say, yeah, like, just getting consistent hundreds, 100-mile weeks, make that feel like it's not crazy hard anymore, and just keep hitting those, hit those for, like, 8 to 10 weeks of running 100-mile weeks, get a race on the calendar, go down to 80 miles, and then maybe 60 miles, including the race, and then, like, build right back up and just keep hitting that.
Yeah, it's crazy how when you're doing the 100-mile weeks, they're easy. Once you
Mhm.
once you hit it, the first one, like the next few, whatever, they feel easy. I haven't hit a 100-mile week in a long time. I dealt with injury and then
Mhm.
the race and then just kind of slowly building back here and also with time. I'm working a
Yeah.
lot right now. And I think I'm on pace this week to hit 100.
Let's
I
go.
don't care if I have to double on Sunday, I'm gonna hit 100
Yeah.
because I hit 90 last week. I'm on pace. I had 37 miles through 2 days, and I was cooked.
Yeah.
Cooked. Like, I don't know how I told my girlfriend, I'm like, "How in the world would I average, like, between 40 and 42 first 2 days of the week, just consistently, like, before
Yeah.
Boston?" Like I did 37. Obviously, Tuesday was a double thresh. Usually, it would be Wednesday where I'd do the big workout. So Tuesday was a double thresh, but so that included a lot of work in there. But I don't know how I did it, and
Yeah,
trying to get to that 100 is hard. But I remember when I was doing 120, like it felt like nothing. Like, oh, do 100, I can take 20 off. It feels like nothing. It's
yeah.
kind of crazy how that works. How
It's
like
all
once you
relative.
hit it, it's easy, but to get there, you just gotta get to that number. I don't know, that's kinda how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, one reason I've been kinda happy to just, like, really gradually increase mileage and even just keep it the same for, like, months and months is you don't have to, like, question the fitness as much. Like, you kinda know where you are. Like, if you're yo-yoing a bit, like, on the mileage or you get, like, a big injury or something, I think the hardest thing would be coming back and, like, refining what your threshold zones are, what you're capable of, and things like that, but it's easy to kinda
Yeah.
maintain your confidence and your momentum if you just kinda keep it steady.
So let's as we start to kinda wrap this up, let's go into, what's next for you? What's your next race?
I think I'm gonna run a half in Ireland. It's called the Charleville Half, in September. I just raced, in a half in June, and it was pretty hilly and pretty warm. I had the excuses, so ready to go, but it was fairly hilly, fairly warm, and I didn't PR. I was like 1:10:04, and I'd run a 1:09. So I was kinda mad about that, but I really love the half marathon. I think it's a great way to assess your fitness, so I'd love to run a 1:08 high, maybe. We'll see.
Oh,
But I feel like I've
So
no
no marathon on the docket?
I'm kind of like the marathon takes it so much out of you. I love it, but, like, I've been waiting to, like, hit a lot of marathons just because I wanna keep building my aerobic base, but I will do a marathon if it falls into my lap to do the Dublin Marathon, like, if my friend has a ticket or gets injured or can't do it, I'll absolutely do the Dublin Marathon in October. Um, I'd like to run the Valencia Marathon because I ran the Valencia half and it was amazing, so, I would do one of those 2, but otherwise, I'd maybe wait till the spring and run the Louisville Marathon. I wanna do.
You wanna do a Louisville
I wanna
marathon?
do the Louisville Mar I wanna win that'd be cool to win the Louisville Marathon because it's a 2
Yeah,
the
it'd be
guy who
fun
won it
to
was
win it.
2:30. It's
Yeah,
possible.
because there's 2,000 feet elevation.
Okay, so maybe that would be easier said than done then.
I
Yeah.
mean, I might be a little aggressive on 2,000, but they literally where does it run, Keaton? You know where that is? Isn't that through, like, the Parklands?
no, you do go through Iroquois Park though. It's
You're right.
pretty much like downtown, down. Maybe that's Fourth Street,
No,
all the way
that's
down.
KDF.
No,
That's
that's what
KDF.
I'm talking about KDF.
Oh, you're talking
Yeah.
about KDF. Well, there's a
Yeah.
KDF and there's a Louisville Marathon. It's 2 different
Oh,
things.
sorry.
Oh, the Louisville
Sorry.
I wanna
Marathon
go
is brutal. If you've ever been to the Parklands, I believe it's an out and back on the Parklands like Louisville Loop, which is just
Yeah.
a stretch of like
yeah,
flat connecting mountains. So
yeah.
tough situation there. I wouldn't expect 230 there.
No, sorry, yeah, I didn't mean to be braggadocious or arrogant. No, I would like to could be cool, like, the KDF winner was 2:30. I think people just don't really run KDF that much because it's not very well attended. It's right after Boston and some other major marathons, but it'd be cool to, like, kinda
Man,
highlight that as my major one my major race and
no, there was a lot. There was a lot last year. Holy
mhm.
smokes. I mean, more than half, but 15,000, I wanna
Oh,
say?
yeah, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
feel like you could
unpredictable
also
with
in
weather.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
hot the one year I did it,
It was
Arizona.
warm this year too.
Yeah, but you guys could also I mean, you guys could win that, so maybe if maybe I shouldn't do it because you guys would, beat me at but you guys should do it if I don't do it anymore. Do you
I,
know how
I
to the KDF marathon? Wouldn't that be cool, Eric? Or I mean,
Yeah, it would be cool, but I told myself I'm probably never gonna ever race this marathon
yeah.
You've
You've won a marathon
I'm gonna
before.
run Imma run Boston every year. I
Yeah,
wanna run Boston every year, and it's always gonna be the week after, and,
yeah,
I mean, maybe I'll run the half easy with my girlfriend or something, but I will never, I don't think I'll ever
yeah.
race it. Maybe one time, but
And
it's low
do you
odds.
run marathons?
I
Or are
haven't
you
yet,
kinda
man.
screwed if yeah.
I've been I've kind of done the shorter stuff in college, and that's kind of where I've stayed. But I'm gonna do a half in November, and then kind of assess where my trajectory is gonna go for the distances. I'm
Yeah.
I
I
am
feel like you
kind of
can
getting the marathon itch though, so
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like you're gonna be so fast, like, right off the
Yeah, Jack Keaton's
saying
aiming
right.
for a 102 high in the half. So
Oh my gosh.
if he when he
Gonna get
transitions
a
to the
pro
full, we're cooked,
contract.
bro.
Dang.
man, I don't even think that would give me anything, but it'd be closer than where I am now. So,
Oh, good luck, that'd be awesome. I'll definitely be following
well,
along
thank you.
after this and following the journey.
Sweet. I was gonna say I kind of would want to run the Louisville Marathon at some point, just
Yeah, right?
like what Jack was saying for fun. Like Eric's got big beef with the NYC Marathon. We won't get
Yeah.
into that, but like Eric would want to go run New York because it's home. So Louisville would be
Yeah,
one to
right.
do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is kind of brutal in the heat. I know that the halfway mark is like halfway up a hill at Iroquois Park, and you still have like 2 more miles of hills in the park to before you leave. So tough way to see the halfway mark is all I got to say in a Louisville Marathon. But um, speaking of Louisville,
Yeah.
where would you say your favorite place to run in Louisville is?
I think I said this with Eric, earlier, but I love the parklands, actually. I do like running the
Oh yeah,
parklands,
great.
and I just love running with you guys, though, like, just the that was such a revelation to me to run with the Life in Stride guys, like, every single day. I mean, that was my whole trip back home, other than hanging out with my family, was, like, running with you guys, and it was so fun. It just went by so quick every time, so, whether that
Yeah.
was some
Yeah,
Nice.
ridiculous, like, 5 AM Southern Indiana run or, like, running downtown before anyone was awake and just, like, Scotty slamming stop signs way too loud and yelling. I don't know. Good memories, though.
Yeah,
Very
we
good
we
memories.
had a blast. I mean, it was freezing cold when you were here. That was, I think,
Yeah,
December. I think it was when it
the
was
crazy thing
snowing
is
and
yeah, I was looking through my Strava. I was only there, like, a week. I felt like I was there for so long. Like, I got to know you guys really well. I was there, like, a little
I
over
thought
a
it
month,
was longer than that.
right? Yeah,
That's
'cause I
funny.
was running, like, twice a day with you guys.
Well, Jack, we're gonna wrap this up with one final question
Yes.
that we like to ask a lot of people, especially ones with full-time jobs, because that's kind of who we're tailoring towards.
Yeah.
What's your advice to the everyday, 9 to 5 worker trying to achieve those running goals from 5 to 9?
Yeah, I'm kinda thinking, like, when we were talking about training earlier to just do what you can and, you have if you're working 9 to 5, you have a few different segments of the day that you can run. So you have before 9, you have your lunch hour, and then after work. And, I actually am gonna kinda I I saw a tweet, I think it was, like, Brady Homer said, like, "It's important to just hit base hits." I've been thinking about that for a while, and actually I was listening to the pod who was it that said something similar on your pod? It was just like get on base or like hit the base hit every day,
oh,
show up. And
that
that's
was
really
Jacob.
it. Yeah, Jacob, exactly. Yeah, just that is totally my philosophy is just show up, hit a base hit, like get on base and just continue to stay consistent. That's what I love about this sport is good things will come to people who are consistent and patient. And just yeah, do what you can.
Awesome, man.
Love it.
Well, we appreciate you hopping on, Jack Keys, friend of the evening double pod. We really enjoyed it. We appreciate you.
Dude, thank you. Like I said, this is my marathon podcast debut. First time I've been interviewed in any capacity for running, so it's such a privilege and honor. Maybe I'll be on the Instagram page while I'm back home when you're like asking your questions on the long run or whatever. So
Natural.
Oh
might
yes,
not be my last appearance.
absolutely crushed it there for your marathon
Oh,
podcast
thank,
debut, man. You're media trained.
thank you so much. It's great to meet you. You guys. Ask good questions.
Guys, episode 19. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.